Well, it's very significant, although it's just the start of what will be a long process that probably will ultimately end in a decision by the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, if Donald Trump were not allowed to stand on the ballot in Colorado and other states, effectively his potential to be president would be no longer. But what he's going to do is put through a petition. The Supreme Court is almost certainly going to hear it. And my guess is that they are going to overturn this decision by the Colorado Supreme Court.
Now, this section of the Constitution harks back to the American Civil War. How has it been used in the past?
Exactly. So this addition to the Constitution was part of what were called the Civil War amendments, which included the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments that were put in place between 1865 and 1870. The Insurrectionist Act, which is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, has never been invoked against a current or a former president. So in some ways, we're really in unprecedented territory. However, it was used against former Confederate President Jefferson Davis and his Vice President Alexander Stephens. But for many, this is sort of an arcane provision within the amendment and within the Constitution. It really just has not come up as a legal issue.
Mr. Trump doesn't actually need to win Colorado to win next year's election. The danger, though, is that other courts and jurisdictions will then file similar suits. Are those already in the works?
Exactly. So Donald Trump didn't even win Colorado in 2016. So this particular state is not necessarily that critical to his odds of becoming president simply because it's a blue or left-leaning state. However, if other states also took this up, then it would become a real problem. And as of right now, there are 18 additional states where there are filings already in the works. These are being brought by a group called Free Speech for People, which is sort of an advocacy group that has been sort of lobbying against Donald Trump in many different dimensions.
You mentioned that you think that this decision will actually be overturned, but won't other courts then filing similar challenges just tie up Donald Trump's run for presidency in the court system and cause him a whole bunch of hassle in the time?
Well, absolutely. And, this is just one of many cases that Donald Trump, of course, is going to be facing. And it does present a distraction for him in addition to the 4 criminal indictments that are currently pending. But at the same time, I think that this helps Donald Trump politically. It certainly helps him in the primaries. You're going to see most of his competitors come out and back him just like they did with the indictments. He's going to use this as an opportunity to say that the federal government is weaponizing the legal system against him. I think we can expect all of Donald Trump's usual language: witch hunt, hoax, political vendetta, hit job, et cetera. And so I think that this is really an unmitigated political good for Donald Trump, despite the fact that this is really going to entangle him for several weeks, if not months, in the court system.
The former president is, of course, still involved in numerous other criminal cases. How are they progressing, and could they actually have any impact on his candidacy?
Well, I think here you really have to distinguish between the short term and the primaries and the long term and the general election. Right now, Donald Trump has really been trying to put in appeal after appeal to just delay this process. He's hoping to push it beyond the 2024 election. And right now, the calendar is a bit unclear. A lot of it depends on how the judges want to proceed. In most of these cases, deference really goes to the defendant, which is Donald Trump, and he's not eager to have these cases be decided on. In the short term, we've seen that it's really helped him politically because most of his base has rallied around him, and his other primary opponents have been reluctant to challenge him directly on this issue. I think in the long term, if there were some, smoking gun or even a criminal conviction before the 2024 election, it could hurt him with swing voters, moderate voters. But as of now, Donald Trump is just kind of proceeding business as usual.
Dr. Thomas Gift, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.